You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
The mob movie genre just got flipped on its head with the Alto Knights.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Cue music.
This is Movies First.
Imagine Robert De Niro playing both the calculated crime boss and his violent rival in what might be the most ambitious dual role since Pacino faced off against himself in Heat.
That's such an interesting parallel you're drawing there. The way De Niro transforms between Frank Costello and Vito Genovese really showcases his range.
You know what's fascinating about this story? These weren't just fictional characters. Costello and Genovese were real figures who shaped organized crime in 1950s New York, and their rivalry actually changed how criminal enterprises operated.
The historical accuracy really comes through, especially with those black and white footage segments they've woven into the narrative.
Speaking of historical accuracy, the film's title comes from this fascinating piece of mob history, the Alto Knights social club in Manhattan. These clubs weren't just hangouts. They were like unofficial boardrooms where millions in criminal enterprises were managed.
That reminds me of how the film captures the business side of these operations. The way they show Genovese's return from Italy expecting to immediately reclaim his position. It's like a hostile corporate takeover, but with bullets.
Well, that opening elevator scene really sets the tone. Genovese arranging a hit on Costello, who somehow survives a shot to the head. It's based on a real attempted assassination in 1957 that changed the power dynamics in the New York crime families.
The violence in this film feels different from typical mob movies, though. It's more psychological, wouldn't you say?
Exactly, and that's where Nicholas Pileggi's writing really shines. Just like he did with Goodfellas, he's showing us how these criminal empires were built on relationships as much as violence. The fact that Costello and Genovese were childhood friends adds this whole other layer of betrayal.
The way they handle the women's roles is pretty groundbreaking, too. Especially Catherine Narducci as Anna Genovese. Taking her mob boss husband to court was practically unheard of in those days.
You know what's really interesting about that court case? It actually happened in 1953, and it was the first time a mob wife publicly testified against her husband. It exposed so much about how these criminal enterprises operated.
That must have taken incredible courage, especially given the time period.
Barry Levinson's direction really captures the era perfectly, from the way people dressed to how they carried themselves. The production design team actually studied thousands of photographs from the period to get everything exactly right.
And Dante Spinotti's cinematography really brings it all to life. The way he captures both the glamour and the grit of 1950s New York is just incredible.
Well, here's something that might surprise people. The real Alto Knights social club was under FBI surveillance for over a decade, and some of the actual surveillance photos were used as reference material for the film's set design.
That level of detail really comes through in every scene. The way they've recreated these social clubs and establishments, it's like stepping back in time.
And let's talk about how De Niro prepared for these dual roles. He actually studied hours of FBI surveillance footage and court testimonies to capture the distinct personalities of both men.
The transformation is remarkable. When you're watching, you almost forget it's the same actor playing both parts.
Looking at the bigger picture, this film really shows how organized crime in the 50s was going through this massive transformation, moving from street-level operations to more sophisticated business enterprises.
So what do you think this film adds to the genre that we haven't seen before?
Well, unlike many mob films that focus on the rise and fall of a single character, this one shows us how these parallel lives, Costello's calculated approach and Genovese's violent impulsiveness, really represented two competing visions for the future of organized crime.
That's such an interesting way to look at it. It's almost like watching the evolution of criminal enterprises through these two contrasting personalities.
And that's really what makes this film stand out. It's not just another mob movie, it's a study of how personal relationships and business interests collided during a pivotal moment in criminal history. The fact that it's all wrapped up in this incredibly compelling narrative just makes it that much more powerful. We give it a score of 8 out of 10. It's that good. Go see it.
You've been listening to Movies First.
Available at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favourite podcast player. You can also stream on demand at Bytes.com.
This has been another quality podcast production from Bytes.com.